Good morning, Rufus here, and you're watching episode 7 of this hardcore survival series. So, what's more profitable when you're starting from nothing? Silage or timber? I went through the finances this morning, so I've got the answer. Let me show you. Alright, so I went through all my expenses and earnings from August to February, not counting the property since that came out of my savings. Since I took over this land, my total income has been around $212,000. I've made about $106 from timber and around $100 from bales. So over the 7 months I've been here, it's pretty much a dead heat between the two. I also sold my first tractor for around $5,000, but I've spent a lot of money as well. By far, my biggest investment has been machinery and equipment. Everything from the tractor, baler, chainsaw, trailer, seeder, and so on. Apart from that, my expenses are fairly low, mostly covering interest payments, housing, fuel, and other running costs. Right now I'm sitting at $91,000, which nearly halves my net debt. Not that it'll last very long, since you've got to spend money to make money, and a new tractor is definitely at the top of that list. Anyway, the plan for today is to seed and roll both fields, which will probably take most of the day. Unfortunately, it's raining, so it's not exactly ideal for seeding grass, but I can't really wait. I'm aiming for 3 cuts this season, so I need to get those seeds in the ground as soon as possible. I've also got equipment and tools lying around everywhere. It's complete chaos. So I'd like to get a shed or two to store everything properly. Alright, I'm done with the first field. Took me just over 2 hours. I actually really enjoyed that. Probably one of the most satisfying things I've done so far. Maybe apart from making bales. I do like making bales. Anyway, Swifty's nearly out of fuel, and I'm running low on seeds as well. So I'll head into town, pick up some more, and then get started on the second field. Alright, I'm on my way back, but I want to show you something I just saw at the store. Look at this beauty, a 170 horsepower Massey Ferguson, and it's almost within my budget. Well, not really, but if I sell Swifty, I could probably make it work. Man, I really want that thing. It's more than strong enough for a combo baler and wrapper. It can handle a stump grinder, carry bigger loads, lift heavier stuff, it would be a major upgrade from Swifty. But if I go for it, I won't really be able to afford anything else, and I won't have any big money coming in until I sell more bales next winter. So it might be a bit risky. I'll have to think about it. Can't say I'm any less tempted to upgrade Swifty when I see her struggling like this. Makes you think, though. What actually happens to her if I sell her to the store? I don't really like the idea of them tearing her apart and selling her piece by piece. I'd rather they took good care of her. All right, I'm about done seeding the second field. While I was working, I gave Seaman a call, just to get his opinion on that Massey Ferguson. He said it's a very good choice, but when I told him I'd have to spend pretty much everything I've got, he got a bit skeptical. He suggested I wait, see if any used tractors come up for sale. So I've decided to take his advice and hold off for now, see if I can find a decent deal instead. He also invited me over for dinner once I'm done rolling the fields, so I'm thinking I might call it a day a bit earlier than usual. It's not that easy to see where I've already rolled. That might be a problem once it gets dark, but hopefully I'm done before then. I want every inch rolled. Gotta maximize the yield. Get as many bales as possible. I do wonder how many bales I'll get from both fields. I mean, I managed to squeeze out 80 bales without proper fields, so it should be more than that now that I've actually followed every step in the Weedfather's Handbook of Silage Production in Cool Climates. Unfortunately, I'll have to wait a couple of months to find out. Alright, I'm finally done rolling the fields, and that was painful. By far the most tedious thing I've done so far. It's really hard to see where I've already been, and the roller doesn't cover much, so I'm constantly going back and forth. And then it got dark, which made things even worse. I've been at it for over 7 hours. 7 hours of that. No wonder I'm in a bit of a bad mood. But I do have some good news. One of Seaman's friends, Magnus, who I met at the New Year's thing, works in construction. Said he could help me put in a proper farm road. So I gave him a call while I was out here. Turns out he can come over tonight. Now, I'm supposed to be at Seaman's place for dinner at 9, so I told him that. But Magnus said he didn't need me there. Actually said it might be better if I wasn't around, so I didn't get in the way. So I'm heading over to Seaman's. And God knows what Magnus is planning. Good morning. When I got back from Seaman's place around 2 in the morning, Magnus was still out here working on the road. We didn't talk. He just waved at me from his tractor. Then, around 5 o'clock, he woke me up by knocking hard on the door. Said he was done and asked for around $2,000 in cash. Luckily, Seaman had warned me that Magnus is a bit eccentric. They call him the Owl because he mostly works at night. And apparently, he only accepts cash payments. Says he doesn't trust big corporations, banks, or the government for that matter. As an ex-accountant, I'm not entirely convinced that's the real reason. But I didn't ask too many questions. Figured having a good relationship with Magnus might come in handy. And honestly, just look at the work he's done. The road looks great. It's not finished yet, but it's a solid start. At least now I've got a proper road between my fields. Anyway, I've got a couple of things I need to get done today. The fields need another round of fertilizer, so I'll start with that. Then I want to get everything a bit more organized. This place is starting to look like a mess. I might ask Magnus to build a shed or two, somewhere to store all the equipment. But now that spring's here, I'm not really in a rush to get that done. Alright, I'm done. Everything's fully fertilized now. I did run out of fertilizer, so I had to head back into town to pick up some more. But apart from that, the second round went pretty quickly. Now I just have to wait for the first cut in June. Haven't made bales since November, so I'm really looking forward to that. While I'm waiting for silage season to start, I think I'll spend some time clearing the area for that third field. There are quite a few trees there right now. I was thinking about keeping some of them for a rainy day, but now that the balance is looking a bit healthier, it probably makes more sense to clear the whole area and use it for crops instead. But before I get into that, I'm definitely going to organize the equipment. That mess has been bothering me for a while now. Alright, that looks much better. Everything's lined up nice and tidy, which means I can start clearing more trees without worrying about the trees falling the wrong way and damaging anything. Alright, more money coming in. I've started clearing the area for the new field, but there are a lot more trees left than I expected, and they're big, so it takes a while to cut them into manageable pieces. Ideally, I'd like to fit in a field for wheat or barley, a decent-sized chicken coop, maybe a grain silo, and a shed or two for equipment. But I'm not sure there's room for all that. I've also realized the area only has a few spots that are flat enough for buildings, so I'm not entirely sure how to lay this whole thing out. We'll see. I might end up with just a field, or something completely different. Alright, it's getting dark. I'm tired of working in the forest. And there's a good match starting in half an hour, so I'm calling it a night. But I'm happy with the day's work. The fields are ready for the first cut. The property doesn't look like a battlefield anymore. And I've sold timber for about 20 grand. The only thing missing now is a new tractor. Hopefully I can find a good deal on a used one and save some money. But I can't wait too long. I'll need something better to deal with all those stumps out there. Anyway, I'm heading inside to watch that match. See you tomorrow.